Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hello, everybody, and really glad that you're with us here today. When I talk about us, it's Chris Williams and Dr. Sheri Keffer. And
Yes.
How are you beautiful people today?
Doing well, especially that I get to hang out with you guys. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on radio.
You really like us?
I like you guys so
it's
much.
So nice to be liked by,
Yes.
one person in this world. It just is nice.
It is always nice. It's also nice that this is National When Pigs Fly Day. When Pigs Fly Day. That's what it is. Now,
I'm laughing.
you know what when pigs fly or flying pigs is? It's an adenine. An adenine is something that is so impossible. It's a hyperbole so exaggerated that it's impossible. And it is noted in literature that they were referring to when pigs fly, a sarcastic response to something that, yeah, I'll believe that when pigs fly, or I'll see that when pigs fly. It started back in the 1600s. I bet it even goes way on back farther than that people would say that. They might have said when oxen fly, but I think pig is perfect.
Mm-hmm. So, Steve,
anyway,
what's something in your life that you would say is when a pigs fly moment, like something impossible that's happened in your life that you could barely imagine it happening?
well, and my life verse is Ephesians 3:20, that God will do for us things we can't even think up or imagine. That I had this idea for a women's conference, and then I knew the people that could be part of it. And 20 years later, 5 million women have filled arenas, 20,000 women. And over that 20 years, over 500,000 women made first-time decisions for Christ. That is something, if you had said to me when I was in high school, you're going to create something, you're going to fill arenas. Disney on ice doesn't fill arenas. I would say, no, yeah, when pigs fly. But that's a pretty amazing
I love that.
thing for me that I'm so great. And there are just other things like that. Like you're going to create a Bible for recovering people that will last 30 years and still be as relevant as it was day one, and will be approaching 4 million copies. And I would say, yeah, when pigs fly, I'm going to be part of it. So there you go. What about you? How about you and Chris? What are yours?
Oh, I can't get the image out of my mind. When my husband and I were on vacation, we went through this place in California. It's really off the beaten trail. But there's this man that makes statues out of iron, and they all turn to rust. They're beautiful. He makes horses and dinosaurs, and we were driving by it, and we just saw this huge, it's like a football field full of all these creatures. Well, we walk on, and guess what I saw, Steve?
What'd you see?
There was a pig with wings, and we were laughing because we were saying, oh my goodness, that's like when pigs fly. But I was thinking, who would spend $2,000 on that?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's a good thing. It's like miracles.
Absolutely.
Miracles on miracles.
We'll hear yours after the break, Chris. But I want to tell you why we're talking about this, because we have when pigs fly moments at New Life all the time. Dead marriages are revived. People that hate each other love each other.
True.
Addictions are overcome. Relationships healed. And people start to experience the love of God. And they start to share it with other folks. Every day we see something special. That's why we say around here, it's never just another day at New Life Ministries.
It's
Need
a
some
when
help.
pigs fly day.
Absolutely. Any
Every
day
day.
the pigs can fly.
It really is.
My husband was involved with a pornography addiction. He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. he stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. November 11th through the 13th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Sheri Keffer, Chris Williams. Chris Williams, do you have a When Pigs Fly moment?
You know, the thought that came to me, the memory that came to me was actually one with you, Steve, is that if someone would have told me that I would be teaching on the southern steps of the temple in Jerusalem,
Nice.
the same place where Peter preached on the day of Pentecost, the same steps that Jesus had traveled, that many had been there, I would have said, when pigs fly. And I would be doing that with you, Steve. That would have been when pigs fly moment for me, for sure.
And it was for me also.
I want to add just, I think if someone would have told me that my marriage to Connor and the sexual betrayal and the devastation of all of that I would have a book and be able to help other women and couples get healing, that would have been a when pigs fly moment.
Yeah.
You know,
That's so good.
It's just amazing what God can do with a bunch of pigs.
And by the way, your book, Intimate Deception, if people will read that, then the title of their book won't be Imminent Deception. Because when you don't heal from the first deception, you think you got it under control, but you go and marry the exact same person again. Let's go to Dennis, Naples, Florida. Listens on Sirius XM. Dennis, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking my call today.
You're welcome, and thanks for calling us. Really appreciate that.
Okay.
How can we help?
I was going down the road a while ago, and I heard a man talking about shame, and I don't even know the whole conversation, but I said I need to call and talk about some shame too.
Okay.
And my question is, how do I get rid of shame that was caused by another person not being able to live up to his standards?
Okay, tell us what happened.
I'm 72, so this happened 70 years ago.
What happened?
So, and I still carry shame. My dad came home from Korea. He had never met me, and I had never met him. Today, he would be considered to have PTSD because he was really just blown with shrapnel, and I mean, it was terrible.
Wow.
But when he came home, he used to get a leather strap and beat me a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And like I say, I understand today is PTSD. I understand that. At that time, nobody knew what they called it, something else, battle fatigue, that kind of thing.
Well, Dennis, let me jump in really quickly. Yeah. Because what happened is he passed his PTSD straight on to you.
I don't know. First of all, let me say he's been dead for 12 years.
Hold on.
But that's not.
But when a grown man comes and takes a weapon and harms a child, that child will have a traumatic experience. If that traumatic experience is not healed, it turns into post-traumatic, right? And that has effect. And one of the main consequences is shame. is that if my dad would have come home and held me and loved me and played ball with me and sure, disciplined me when, have consequences when I misbehaved, but also guided me in love and in developing who I was and paid attention to me, did all those sort of things, that would have been a different experience. But what my dad's job is to teach me about myself, and through his anger and through his own pain and through his own lashing out and abuse, what did he teach me about me? Well, he taught me that I'm not good enough and that I'm not worthy and maybe even that I don't belong. And so when a 2-year-old starts to believe that inside of them, it takes on a life of its own, and it becomes an organizing principle, the core belief about ourselves. And so we begin to organize our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors and our relationships around this core truth born out of pain and hurt that I'm not good enough. And so we have to enter into a process to, one, recognize, oh, my father passed along to me PTSD. And so I need a healing process as a result of that.
And here's the thing. When you hear about PTSD and you let him off the hook because of PTSD, you stay on the hook.
That's good. That's right, Steve.
Just knowing about PTSD isn't the same as working through the issues. Sheri, your thoughts?
Yeah, Dennis, what's the negative belief? How young were you when your dad beat you with the strap?
Probably 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. So it'll be
Actually, yeah, even up to 10 or 12 at times.
Okay.
Not as often.
So you have some intrinsic memories, meaning you've got memories that are inside of you, and then you've got extrinsic memories, ones that you actually have. But what's the negative belief about yourself in light of your dad beating you with a strap? What do you hear in your head? I am
not worthy.
All right.
I am not worthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you know what? Go ahead.
I'll say, just let me add so that you'll see the whole story, is that he became called into the ministry after about 6 or 7 years out after the war. He went on to the seminary, and we all went together. And then when he came out, he didn't beat me anymore, but he loved the church more than he loved me.
So
Right.
that's
At least I
another.
thought so.
Yeah, so that adds to the story, right? That's chapter 2. I'm not worthy, right?
Right.
So that's where That's where strongholds come from. Now, what is the 180 degrees? What's the exact opposite of I'm not worthy? What's the opposite?
I am loved and worthy.
Okay. I want you to write that down. Down.
Because you are.
Okay.
That is your goal. You want to get rid of shame? 90% of it is just knowing the mark, like a bullseye on a marksmanship. If you're shooting an arrow, that's your bullseye, is I am loved and worthy. Now, what is keeping you today from embracing that truth? What's in the way?
Well, the only thing I could think of while I was waiting on you to come online is that I don't think I've forgiven him.
You know what I was thinking?
We had a good home life.
You know what I was thinking?
But
let me tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking,
okay,
you've never grieved him.
Okay.
You've never fully grieved the fact that he didn't come home to you and play baseball. And he had PTSD. Then he gets so involved with the church, he didn't play baseball either. Because the church became more important than you. And I got to tell you, that church Well, first of all, a dad, that father wound that you had, that dad role is kind of associated with God, not just kind of, it is. Then he gets involved with church, which is associated with God, and God is the one that removes shame. So how could you not feel shame having gone through that? Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you this Life Recovery Bible with the grief workbook. I'm going to encourage you to work the 12 steps in the area of grief. But you need to go see a male pastor or counselor that can help you fully grieve what old dad was not. Then you can forgive. But only then are you going to be able to forgive.
And Dennis, the other thing that I would add...
Share your thoughts.
The other thing that I would add to that is when I'm doing EMDR, which stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing, it's a form of therapy that allows you to go back and touch that memory. Not that you relive it, you never can, but what it does is it brings up pictures of what you actually look like as a little guy. And when you actually attach to and see yourself, when you see your innocence, when you can actually see your face wince because of what your dad was doing to you, when you begin to fall in love with that little guy that you were for a decade, that was experiencing a wrath at the hands of his dad, and you begin to love that little guy, I promise you, at some point, Dennis, if you'll do that deeper work, you will see yourself as a man now at 70-something years old, and you'll be able to look at you as a little boy and say to yourself, hey, little guy, you are worthy of being loved. There was nothing wrong with you. You were worthy of being honored. You were worthy of being cared for. I see it now. I can see it. I can feel it. And that's where we move from it being a cognitive thing in our head to an emotional thing in our heart. And so I want you to do some of that deeper work, because there is freedom there for you, my friend.
Jesus had something that he said to a man that he would have said to your father. There was a man worshiping God with his sacrifice. Now, that's a pretty big deal. He was the good guy, worshiping God with a sacrifice. And he was told, hey, don't do that. You go and get right with every person. Then you come back and you offer your sacrifice, and it will be accepted. If Jesus saw what your dad did, he would have said, hey, here you are at church spending all this time, but there's some people that have something against you. Your boy, he doesn't feel loved. You go take care of your boy. Then you come back and serve me in the church. I think that's what you should look to. I think you should do the work. And I'm going to tell you something. This is true, Dennis. God loves you. Jesus is your Savior. He loves you. And his arms are outstretched to this day saying, come to me. I've always loved you. And I don't think you've ever fully experienced it. Your father is dead. Now let's kill the remnants of his impact. And you come and experience me as your heavenly Father. Things will get better for you if you'll do the work. And I'm so glad that you called.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny, Dennis. I'm thinking about folks I've worked with where I will have them bring in pictures, and some of them come in, they may have one. Some of them may have a little book that's been put together, but I actually have them take out pictures of themselves during that period of time that they were abused, and I have them set pictures up on their dresser, someplace in their bedroom, someplace where they're going to see themselves every day. And we work on having them fall in love with that little child take that little child in and realize day after day, like, it wasn't your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't have done anything wrong that would have deserved that type of horrid punishment. You're just a little guy, just a little kid. And you have 3 boys, right?
2 boys, but yeah.
Or 2 boys. This is hard to hear, right?
Yes, but we got to take, like you said, Sheri, connect to the story and retell it in its most honest version.
Yeah.
We've adopted a lie, and that's what I meant by the organizing principle. And I'm glad you got to that with you, Dennis. Is like your organizing principle is not worthy, and so now you have to fight for a new one, letting go of the old one.
Yeah.
And then experience your worth.
All right, I'm going to send you 2 Bibles, Every Man's Bible and the Life Recovery Bible in the workbook on grief.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are so back you wouldn't even believe it. And what a phone call that was to you, to walk around in the shame that's caused by another person being hurt. You know, I wish he would come to our Repurposed Life Recovery Conference. You know, the early bird special, it does go away on Friday. The conference is September 24th. It's online. Chris, tell us something you're going to say so people might go, okay, I got to hear that.
Yeah, listen, when we're in this process of growth, healing, development, becoming mature in Christ, there are so many setbacks along the way. And so many opportunities for disappointment that turns into discouragement that can even turn into despair. And so I want to talk about failure is imminent, but we're going to recover anyways. That there is grace and there is God's love and movement and power even in our failures. And the one thing that we don't want to do is give up on the process, no matter how at times it can be discouraging. And I'm going to help us have some really good tips and really good tools on how to get back on the recovery train when it's either derailed or we've jumped off.
Well,
right.
you know who was a good model of that was Dennis, right? He was open. He called us. He had a heart that wanted to learn. And even at 71, he's like, I got to figure this out. And it was beautiful.
Incredibly inspiring, for sure.
I'll be singing the song, There Ain't No Shame, Ain't No Blame on the Recovery Train.
Yes.
I hope it'll work with what you have to say there, Chris. Really appreciate that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out about it or sign up. It's It's September 24th. 4 hours, not very long. It's going to be a great time. Now let's go back to our phone calls here. And how about we talk with Karen? New York City is where she's from. We'll be there. Solomon's in the Macy's Day Parade. We're all going.
Oh,
hello,
cool.
Karen. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my phone call.
Certainly. How could we help?
Well, I'm hoping you can, because I haven't been able to do anything for years. I don't even know where to start. Since I was a teenager, my parents were both verbally and physically abusive. Not extreme, but enough to hurt.
Yeah.
You know, the name calling and the hitting. And because of that, I didn't want to hate my parents, so I left. And I went to college, I went to grad school, and moved on, but not far away, because if they needed me, I'd always be there. I have a sister. She never followed her passions, and she'll make comments about that. And it's been for years, and for years I've tried to help them understand that I followed my passion. Please don't get angry at me. Please don't use it against me. And I met a man, got married. He has a big family, whereas my family, they don't have cousins, brothers-in-law, sister-in-law. No, it's just the one sister I have. So I had children, and I made it a point not to bring up my kids the same way. We say, I love you, we hug each other, and family has always been number one. And I've always encouraged my kids.
So how can we help you?
Contact with grandma. Well, right now what's happening is I just don't know whether to disconnect from my mom and my sister, because now my mom is calling me names, blaming me, making accusations that aren't true, and it's just hurting me deeply. And my sister is going right along with it.
What's something your mother says to you in the blaming?
I'm no good.
Your mother is saying to you that you're no good.
Yep, I'm no good. When I had cancer, she told my son I was lying. And I went through 6 weeks of treatment. And my sister, when I tried to get help from her, her comments to me are, it's your problem, not my problem. I'm not going to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And so I don't get that support. I get more support from my husband's side of the family.
Yeah, okay.
And they don't even want to hear it anymore because they've seen the abuse. You know, we constantly try to get the family together, but my mother's comment is, their family's not my family. You only have one family. My sister says,
why would you be wanting to get them together? Your family's really sick. Really
because
sick.
She's my mother, and that's my sister.
Well,
because
okay. Let me just hear. Let's just hear. I want to hear what Chris and Sheri have to say about a really sad situation. I'm so sorry you've been dealing with this. Sheri, what's your thought?
Oh, girl, you know what?
It hurts.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. You know what? And it's hurt ever since you left your house. You know, when you look at trauma and post-traumatic stress, there's fight, flight, and freeze, and then fold, right? So guess what you did to get away from the trauma, the verbal, physical abuse, and all that? What did you do? Fight, flight, or freeze?
I left.
You ran.
I fled.
You ran.
Yeah.
And you know
but
what?
I made it a point to go to grad school and college.
And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. But this is what you're dealing with. You ran, and you never really dealt with the harm. That's normal. Many of us run from it because we're being hurt. But you carried with you this guilt and shame that you still have, that you need to somehow be this good girl, this loyal, loving daughter, even though you've been treated harshly. You haven't let that young girl off the hook. You're still hanging there.
All right, we'll have more after this. My favorite television show flea market flip, because they take a piece of junk and they repurpose that junk into something quite valuable. I said, let's do a repurposed life conference, because that's what I think God is really all about. We head one way and we mess up, and then God says, I can use that.
The Repurposed Life online conference is Saturday, September 24th. The topics addressed are for anyone who wants to move from the pain and struggles of the past towards a healthy, happier future. Steve and Misty Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Becky Brown will cover topics like how to move from past hurts and trauma, building your community, codependency, failure and recovery, recovery from the pandemic, and much more.
If you will trust God and live into the grace and mercy that He has, God will do things you just never even dreamed.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit liferecoverygroups.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of the Life Recovery Bible personal size, the 1-year Life Recovery Prayer Devotional, the New Life Journal, a New Life pen and highlighter, and a New Life zipper tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. And I think this is a horribly sad call, because, Karen, you're still being abused, mistreated by your mother. Very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you have a comment here for her? Then I have a final comment.
Yeah, I would.
Well, can I just say one thing?
Go for it.
I have made mistakes in my life when I was a teenager, and I know that. And but they keep throwing those mistakes in my face.
So
even though I said I'm sorry, I can't change the past.
So Karen,
that's all they've got to work
for. Karen, love does not keep records of wrongs. So everything that you're telling us is more confirmation of what we already know. You are supposed to get a mother. And you said, oh, well, she's my mom. I'm like, I don't think so. She has the title, but she was never able to fulfill the role.
And still isn't.
And so she has to get fired because she cannot fill the role any longer. She's proven it. And so her job is done. But that comes with a great, deep fear, a realization of a fear that you've had all along, and that is loss. You never got the mother that you were supposed to get, and that hurts.
There's like 1,000 tears in there, girl. 1,000 tears.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing is, do I make my kids still talk to her?
You don't make anyone do anything.
Okay, let me just let's just. What if your mom was a mass murderer in prison, and she never admitted she did it, even though there are videos of her shooting tons of people? Would you make your kids go see her?
Never.
Your mom,
no.
Your mother is not a mass murderer. She's a soul killer. She's a spirit destroyer. I would never have my kids around someone like her. She might say something about what you did as a teenager. I wouldn't do it. She's not safe.
She has done that.
You must. Okay,
that.
so don't take your children around her. Look, it says honor your father and mother, but you never want to honor a dishonorable parent. That is
that's what I've lived with.
Well, don't live with that anymore. You quit that right now, okay? It's not good for you to think, here's how you honor her. You already have. you've become a person that she could never help you be. Now that's honorable, right?
Yeah.
You honor her with your life. You don't honor her by pushing your kids on her or expecting that she's going to give you something she doesn't have. Imagine if you were bleeding to death and they hooked an IV up to a turnip. You would be saying, you can't get blood out of a turnip. Don't. Well,
Right, so
she
what
is.
about my sister?
It doesn't matter about your sister. If she is in the same shape as your mom, you have to grieve the loss of these people. They're destroying your peace, and you're letting them.
Yeah, your mom is absorbed your sister like a narcissistic supply.
Absolutely.
And so,
I know that.
Yeah, and so your sister is looking how your mom is treating you, and inside of her, she's saying very simply, ooh, I don't ever want to be my sister because mom's going to talk bad about me, which is what a supply does. A supply will stay loyal as long as they can see other people are being abused, but you can't save her. You can't.
Yeah. Have you ever been to one of our workshops, Karen?
No.
Okay. Well, we love
Guess what?
this.
We're inviting you.
Yeah. We love this old video of Bob Newhart. He's a therapist, and this woman comes in with a problem, and his answer is, stop it. Just stop it. And it's just such bad counsel and all this. It's just hilarious. But I'm going to take the Bob Newhart approach with you. Karen, stop this. You don't need to be attached to something that is sick. And in fact, you're kind of enabling the evil to continue. If you quit showing up, if you quit trying to get the blood out of the turnip, they might notice that and decide, we kind of miss her. Maybe we ought to change the way we are with her if we want her to be around. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change if you continue on this path. Do not take your kids near sick people. Don't do that. I don't care if they're the president of the Mother's Club or they're your mother. If they're sick, your kids need to be protected from them, not thrown at them. Okay?
Right. Yeah. And I know that. And right now I've made a decision that I'm not. I used to see my mother once a week. I would call her every day, but I've stopped. My mother and my sister, because this last incident, they just made all these accusations that weren't true. And my mother told me I was no longer part of the family. I was no good. And I said, that's it. I'm done.
Perfect. She invited you to go away. Go away. And be happy. After you grieve the loss, be happy that you found your way. There is nothing in Scripture that says, go forward and drag every unhealthy human being that hates you, that is they think you're disgusting and they tell you that, drag them around with you. I don't see that anywhere. Think of the wasted energy on your mother and sister that could have been helping other people. Now you go help other people. If you'll come to the pre-purposed workshop, I'll get you a scholarship, because this is the time for you to repurpose your life away from them and their sickness to others who deserve a woman like you, providing them with help, hope, and healing.
But you know what's sad is I did that. I turn around and I'm involved in the community. Okay. I do a lot for people. And my mother's comment to me, and that's why her comment to me is, they really don't know the real you.
Well, look, why would you even expect her to say anything but that? You must stop talking to her. You must tell her, I'm not talking to you. I'm not part of the family because you don't want me. I'm not part of the family because I'm not going to listen to anybody say the horrific things that you say to me. No one should be treated like that, and I'm not going to enable it anymore. Sheri, one final thing. I know I'm being really tough here because I'm angry at this.
I know.
I hate this for her.
There's some motivator I always say, let's don't judge ourselves. Let's try to figure out what it is that causes you to want to go back. It could be guilt, something that you feel guilty about. It could be a longing that if I just go back, maybe next time my mom might finally tell me what I've always wanted to hear, like I love you. It's fantasy. It's not reality. Or it could be a trauma bond. Sometimes we're bonded with somebody that is horrible, that hurts us over and over again. So look at all three of those things, because it's something, girl. It's something. And you have got to figure out what that something is and then get detached from whatever it is that's driving you towards an abuser.
Okay. Honoring your father and mother is not honoring despicable, horrible behavior, statements. It's just becoming a great person in spite of them. And the more you expose yourself to the cancerous emotional impact, the less you have to give other people. How about we go to Marie, Portland, Oregon, Sirius XM. Hi, Marie. How are you today?
Oh, hi. Oh, my gosh. Wow.
What happened?
I called you for something.
Yes, you did.
Well, I was listening to Karen.
I know. Girl, if you could see.
I was going to call.
If you could see my notes.
Call tomorrow with that issue.
If you guys could see my notes on Karen, I am like, there is hardly any paper left. And there was a ton there, wasn't it?
We feel for her.
Yeah, but what's going on with you?
A ton there. And I just came through that.
Okay.
I called you for something else, but I was going to call you tomorrow with this issue. I just came through that. I had to ask my mother to leave, and I basically divorced her. I forgave her when we put her on the bus, and I really hadn't spoken with her until I ran into her in another state at a function, and I was cordial, but I left it at that. I love her, but I love her from afar, because of the abusive things that are said and done.
Yeah.
And just very hard stuff. And I realized I was in depression for years because I had to go through that. It was a trauma bond.
Well, we're going to get to your real question.
So
the
proud
other
of
question,
you.
as soon as we get back. But
you just
there.
offered Karen hope right now.
Yeah,
You're
that's
one
right.
other person that was listening and said, hey, girl, I get it. I did it. I'm doing it. And you can do it too.
We'll be back.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, October 21st to the 23rd.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we are back, and we're talking with Marie. Now, Marie, what do you think you might have called about in the beginning?
This is what I called about in the beginning. I called you guys about 10 years ago. I was having issues with my mother-in-law. And, at that time I was thinking, when pigs fly, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But because of the way the Lord has worked through you guys, and I put on my big girl panties at that time and listened to everything you guys said and did it, she got saved before she died.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Coming back, I just thank God for that. That I would have never seen that in 100 billion years. For her to even say she loved me and she gets saved, that just would have never happened.
Yeah.
But I'm calling.
What's the question for us, though?
I have her son, who I'm married to, who's in the same field as you guys, but I have suspected and I have endured abuses and things of that nature because of this very scenario, that he loves his adult children more than me. How do you go forward in a marriage?
Well, tell me something.
That?
Tell me a negative thing that you experience with him loving his children more than you.
Let's see. Just never getting home on time because, they're on Facebook all the time and gossiping about what's going on in the family, and, he's relinquishing information, taking in information, and just time is just not being spent because he's not here at night.
Yeah.
Wait. Not here at night? Can you tell us a little bit, like not coming home or not coming home till 2 in the morning?
No. From work. Just from work. It's just...
You're suffering. You're suffering. Tell us the specifics.
Well, I'm suffering because how do you go forward in a marriage knowing that now? That he has admitted that he loves his adult children more than me.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the adult children and his love for them. Sadly, it's his lack of love for you. Right?
Okay, I agree with that.
And that's really sad, and that's horrible that he's in, quote unquote, the profession we're in, but he hasn't found a way back to loving you the way he did when you guys met and dated. So the question is, what are you willing to do in the face of this unhealthy treatment of you, using the kids as the excuse? If it wasn't kids, it would be gambling or it would be drinking or whatever. But his lack of love for you doesn't allow you to be a priority.
Yeah.
Chris, what are you thinking when you hear this?
Yeah, I think that there's been a turning away in the marriage. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter what he turned away to, but ultimately we start with the pain of him turning away.
Yeah.
But we don't quite...
Well, we were fine 6 months into the relationship, and then we started having the problems with his adult kids.
Mary, this is the truth. Our best selves get married until our real selves show up, right?
Uh-huh.
So you guys...
Our false selves get married.
That's right. That's right. So this has been going on a while. And yes, maybe he is attached, but there's a jealousy there. There is a competition there. Love doesn't operate that way. Love does have boundaries. It does take time, but it doesn't pit people against each other. And so there is something missing, and that missing part, whatever it may be, is a huge question mark. And that can be scary with especially what Sheri and I deal with on a daily basis. Like, is there something else going on? Is he sexually acting out? Or is it just he's a workaholic with children, but ultimately you need
What's going on is that we've had fights, verbal fights, physical fights. Nobody knows the abuses I've gone through because of the line of work he's in, and he doesn't want to be reported. And because I stand up for myself now, and I didn't used to, it's become a real problem.
Absolutely. So he has a lot of
he doesn't.
Sure, he has a lot of relationally dangerous behavior. I'm wondering if you were to tell him, listen, this doesn't work. I can't take the harm. I don't want to be harmful. Can we not do anything yet, but hold off or get into marital counseling? But also, I think you guys didn't really know how to connect to each other. I think you need to get to intimacy in marriage. And it's not coming
That's
up.
What I suggested we did.
And what did he say?
He said, well, I tried to sign up for that before, but the timing wasn't right, and you didn't want to go at that time, so we're not going to go at this time.
Oh, well, okay. It's an excuse and a battle for control. And I'm not saying it's not based on evidence, but I think you let him know we're doing this or I have to take more drastic measures.
Because I'm not going to keep your secret anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. You are harboring secrets about him with his family, professionally.
You know what it's like? It's like a doctor using morphine at home. You just wouldn't allow that. You would report him. And this guy is using and abusing stuff at home that's wrong. So, of course,
about it like that. That's
I
a
would
great
say,
analogy.
I would say to him, the least you can do, given the way I've been treated, the least you can do is go to intimacy in marriage with me. And if we have to take money out of something or this to do it, we need to do it. I have great hope for you when you come, because we have had situations much worse than this, and they end up in a marriage with people they love in that marriage. That's going to be, let's see what the date is.
It's October 21st in Dallas.
Thank you, Chris. October 21st, Dallas, Texas, right in the middle of the country. So maybe you're in a situation that seems impossible. In Matthew 19:26, Jesus looked at the people and said, with man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible. And God shows up, and people are restored at these workshops, these intensives. But you have to call us and find out all about them, and we'll tell you everything you need to know and how to get there. In the meantime, on September 24th, we have the Repurposed Life online conference. How God doesn't rip away your calling. Everybody's called, not just priests, prophets, preachers, pastors, anything starting with a P, not just those people. It's everybody. Every Man's Battle is October the 7th in Orange County. Intimacy in Marriage, October 21, Dallas. Restore, November the 11th. You can absolutely still sign up for the Rhine River Cruise, October the 6th, and Lumina, November 3rd and 4th. It's never been more affordable to go be part of the great Bible teacher Jen Wilkin, Lauren Green McAfee, and to see and experience Nicole C. Mullen. If you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You are loved by God, and you are loved by us. Thanks, Chris, Dr. Sheri. God bless you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.